It's the middle of April. So why am I wearing a scarf, you ask? Because it's about 30 degrees in New York right now, man. Anyway, my best friend bet me $100. He said that I can't do my intro without using my hands. This is about to be the easiest $100 I've ever made. You serious? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what up? My name is Vladimir Riché from ChaseandRider.com. And then alright. Yo, what up? My name is Vladimir Riché from ChaseandRider.com. And in this video, we're gonna talk about how much of a bad dresser I used to be. I'm hoping that this video will be inspirational to some of you, because I think that a lot of people are under the impression that in order for you to dress well, that's something that you have to be born with. That's really not the case, and I'm living proof of that. Not to blow my own horn, but I think that I dress pretty well. But that wasn't always the case, man. I used to be a hot mess. And when I say a hot mess, I'm not talking about wearing baggy suits and not being into menswear. I'm not talking about that side of me, because that definitely was a side of me as well. I'm talking about the side of me that thought that he knew how to dress well. You know what I mean? And what gave me the idea for this video is a couple weeks ago I posted a picture on Instagram. It was a throwback picture that showed me wearing a dark suit with light brown shoes. And that was right after I made the video on the right way to wear light brown shoes. I posted a picture to show that I didn't always follow that rule myself. And the caption was back when I used to dress really bad or something like that, right? That prompted a response from someone on Instagram. He was like, well, even dressing the way that you dress, you look a lot better than guys that I know that be wearing like really baggy suits and things like that. And this is something that I've always struggled with. What's a worse look? The guy that doesn't know anything about menswear and doesn't care about menswear, so he always wears all his clothes too baggy? Or the guy that thinks he knows everything about menswear, always wears his clothes too tight, and he just looks like he's trying too hard, you know, which is exactly what I was. It's just like how they say doctors make the worst patients. It's kind of similar to that, where the guy that thinks that he knows how to dress, that reads a lot of GQ magazines, that guy thinks that he knows everything, so it's a lot harder to work with somebody like that, versus a guy that already knows that he doesn't know that much, he doesn't really care about suits. He just has some kind of event coming up and he needs help. Those guys are definitely a lot more enjoyable to work with because they're willing to listen. But I've experienced with both guys. I used to be those guys myself. Like before I really got into menswear, you couldn't really pay me to wear a suit. So all my suits were too baggy. Well, my suit was too baggy. I had like one. I just wasn't really into it, you know what I mean? And then once I got into suits, started reading GQ and doing all those things, I was that guy that thought that he knew everything. I was very stubborn, and I just wouldn't really listen. Like I was saying, I've been in both of their shoes. So when I look at myself, the version of myself that I hated the most stylistically would have to be the one from around 2007, 2011 that just thought he knew everything. And another reason why I really hated that version of myself is because guys that dress like I used to dress back then really give us all a bad name. Because from afar, it looked like, yeah, you know, they're both into menswear, so they're the same, you know what I mean? But we're really not the same at all. So what I want to do today is go back and show you some pictures of the way that I used to look. I'm talking about between 2007 to around 2011, 2012. And then we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to show you all the things that I used to do wrong. So hopefully these pictures will help you if you're at that stage. Once again, I'm not talking about the guy that wasn't into menswear, that used to wear really baggy suits. I do have a picture of that guy as well, so let's take a look at that. So that was me. That was in the 90s, so that was probably like 1999. I'm wearing a black suit. I had originally gotten that suit for one of my friend's funerals. And the salesman told me, you want to buy a suit that's going to last you the rest of your life. So this is the suit that he talked me into. This is a black suit that's huge. It's a 2-button suit, and as you can see in this picture, I have both buttons buttoned. I'm sorry for the quality of the picture, but this is the best one that I could find. The problem with a lot of guys that first get into menswear is that they want to look the opposite of the way that they used to look prior to getting into menswear, when they used to wear all their clothes too baggy. So they figured the best way to do it is to do a complete 180, and then they start wearing all their clothes too tight. So that's definitely the guy that I was. So let's start with these pictures here. I don't know what was going on here. So these are two separate pictures. But as you can see, the cut of the suits were just horrible. The one on the left, this was actually a custom suit. But when I got this custom suit, I told them this is exactly the way that I wanted the custom suit to fit me. I'm holding my breath in a little bit. And even with that, you can see how tight the suit is. The shoulders don't fit. And we're not even gonna talk about the orange buttonholes. We're just gonna leave that alone for now. And then on the other side, this one is a Banana Republic cotton suit. I look like I'm about to explode in this picture, man. Like, this is really, really bad. But this is the way that I started. Like, when I first got into menswear, I was like, this is the way that I want to look. Now, let's go to another picture. So, this is another one here. This is a J. Crew Ludlow suit, I want to say, that I'm wearing right here. The suit itself, as you can see, is really not the best. Like, the jacket stylistically is not great. The lapels are very skinny. The button stance is pretty high. So the button stance is where the top button, and you really want that to be close to your belly button. And as you can see, this is nowhere near my belly button here. Like, it's so high, which is not really flattering. And then you have the huge collar gap here, where the collar of the suit jacket is not laying flat on the collar of the shirt. So that's a sign that that's an ill-fitting suit. That's something that the tailor can fix most of the time. But in this case, I didn't even know that there was anything wrong with it to begin with for a tailor to even fix it. So skinny tie, of course. The pants are very slim. And as you can see here, this is very, very bad. It's almost like the back was droopy. So if you look here on the back of my left leg, so to the right of the picture, you can kind of see how the seat was really, really awkward. And if you look in between my legs, pause, there's like a rumpling going on here behind my right leg. And you couldn't tell me nothing. This was at a wedding, and in my head, I was the best dressed man at that wedding. But looking back now, this is like a really horrible look. Let's look at this one. Wow. Interesting story about this one. So this is the Banana Republic suit. The first thing that you'll notice is that the jacket is really, really long. Funny thing about this jacket, a friend of mine used to work at Banana Republic, and I needed a suit for work. So he was like, you know, we can go to Banana Republic, I have 50% off, we can get yourself a nice suit. Now this friend is about 6'1", 6'2" maybe. And as you guys know, I'm 5'10", and he wore, I think he used to wear a 42 long. I'm bigger than him, so he was like, yeah, you should take a 44. But he didn't just say a 44, he told me a 44 long. So what you're looking at right here, ladies and gentlemen, for a guy that's 5'10", I'm wearing a size 44 long, which I really had no business wearing. So as you can see, this jacket makes me look like I'm really short because the jacket is so long. What you really want in a jacket is for the jacket to be long enough to cover your whole seat. And as you can see, this jacket is way longer than that. Horrible button stance. As long as this jacket is, it still buttons really high up. It also has a collar gap. And another thing with this jacket, the lapels do not lay flat on my chest. You can see that the lapels buckle here. The tie is horrendous. The crazy part is back then people used to look at me and thought that I was sharp. Like, I thought I was sharp, but other people thought that I was sharp as well. And that definitely wasn't the case. The tie knot is like a double Windsor. And it's funny, man, because people in my comments now asking me, why don't you do a double Windsor knot? Like, no thank you, man. I used to do double Windsor knots, and I'll never do that again, you know? What else I got for you guys? Let's look at the next picture, which is this one. A few things about this suit. Number one, you can tell that the jacket is too short. It's not covering my whole seat. You can see where it stops right here. Second thing, there's pulling at the buttons, which is an indication that the jacket is too tight. And the third thing that you can see here, which is very apparent, is the shoulders do not fit. So there's a divot on the shoulder, which is a clear indication that the jacket does not fit. Once again, you know, skinny tie, my 1-inch tie bar, thinking I'm really killing it. And I really wasn't doing it at all, man. All right, let's look at the next one. Where do I start with this one? So once again, this is the pinstripe suit making another appearance. This was my first suit when I really started to like menswear and wanted to get into it. And I got a pinstripe suit. Like, you should never get a pinstripe suit as your first suit. You want to get something that's solid, that's not as obvious. So this is all wrong. That tie is pretty bad. And let's go down to the shoes. And like, I've seen worse shoes, but these shoes are definitely pretty bad, man. You can see like the front of the shoes kind of look like a flathead screwdriver a little bit. So The pants are too long, just a really bad look, man. Now, let's talk about this suit here. So this is at my birthday party, and this is when I proposed to my wife, actually. This suit was a Banana Republic suit, and the shirt I believe was from Thomas Pink. It was a gingham shirt. Back then, I really liked gingham shirts and thought that they were so fly, you know what I mean? The funny thing about this suit was I took it to my tailor after I got it to get the suit shortened, and read it somewhere in GQ. That's what's in right now, shorter suit jackets. So as you can see, this is me at my tailor, and you can see here where the suit is supposed to end, and you can see where he pinned it here because I asked them to shorten the suit jacket for me. Now, you never really want to shorten a suit jacket for a couple reasons. A short suit jacket is just not a good look for a guy, and B, you're going to throw off the proportion of the suit because where the button is in relation to where the bottom of the suit jacket is. So when you shorten the suit jacket, you really throw the whole thing off whack. And this is when I went to go pick up the jacket. I don't think it was quite ready yet, but that was like a second fitting, and you can see that the jacket is much shorter than the way that it was before on that side. Let's look at the next picture. It gets better, guys, trust me. And when I say better, I don't mean that in a good way. This one right here is pretty bad, man. So this one was at another wedding. My wife was the maid of honor. I'm wearing a linen suit. It was a linen chalk stripe suit, and the jacket is too short and too tight. The pants are like bell bottoms. This is why when I tell people when you go to somebody's wedding, you have to be mindful of what you're wearing. Man, I'm wearing brown shoes, and I'm really speaking from experience, man. I've done it all. So I'm not just talking, I've actually done it. To Kim and John, I really apologize to you guys for coming to your wedding dressed like this. Let's look at the next picture. All right, so I think this one really takes the cake. This suit is a custom suit. This is when I used to work for a company that made custom suits. And this was at a convention in Las Vegas. This suit looked like one of my son's suits. Pants are really short. I'm wearing black shoes with red laces and red socks, red tie, and glasses. And I actually took a picture in the mirror thinking that I was doing it. But I have a better picture from that night. So this is a more professional picture. Unfortunately, you can't see my whole body like the other one, but you get the idea, man. The tie is horrendous. Just looking a hot mess in Las Vegas, man, thinking that I was doing the damn thing. What else I got for you guys today? Let me see. All right, let's take a look at this one. So this is the same linen suit that I was wearing at that wedding. You can see it better here. In this picture, I'm wearing it with a red gingham shirt. The button stance is way too high on this jacket, but forget the button stance. Look how tight the jacket is. Jacket is screaming, Vlad, I don't fit you. If you know where that's from, leave it in the comments, man. You're probably wondering what changed. How did I go from dressing like this to dressing the way that I am now? To keep it 100, it wasn't an easy transition at all. Around the end of 2012, early 2013, that's when I started to realize that something was wrong. Like, I would go to Style Forum and I would see a lot of guys that would get a lot of props on what they was wearing. I used to be confused because when I would look at those guys, I always thought that their suits were too big. And I would look at those pictures and comparing them to my pictures, I'm like, why is he getting so much credit when his jacket is so big, you know what I mean? And then it took a while for me to finally realize, like, wow, maybe this is the way that a jacket is supposed to fit. Also on Style Forum, I was reading all these threads. The great thing about a forum, you see a lot of questions that people would ask with the same kind of questions that you would have. So without putting yourself out there asking these questions, you can just read the threads and see the answers to those questions without you having to ask those questions yourself. And the part that really made it even harder is I used to work in the industry, and whenever I would go somewhere, I would know more about menswear than the people that I was trying to help. So looking at myself as somebody that always thought that he knew what he was talking about, to really thinking like, wow, I really don't know that much. It's really a hard thing to admit to yourself. So that's what I was saying. Working with those type of guys like myself back then that thought he knew everything. The reason why it's hard to work with those guys because it's hard for those guys to admit they actually don't know that much, because they've been going years thinking that they know everything. People are complimenting them. They're complimenting themselves, thinking that they're the best dressed when they're really not. I remember going to Suit Supply and I got my first suit from Suit Supply. My cousin did a photo shoot for me. This was in March 2016. This is when I really got it. This is when things started to click. This is a picture of me from 2016. This picture doesn't look that different from the way that I look now. There are some differences, but I'm pretty proud of the way that I look back then, even when I look back at it now 4 years later. The button stance is it's not bad. I'm showing some cuffs on my shirt. I'm wearing a pretty nice tie. I'm wearing a nice pocket square. I'm wearing some nice shoes. These shoes are from Cobbler Union. I got 2-inch cuffs on the pants. So as you can see, it took me about 2.5 to 3 years to go from looking the way that I used to look to looking a way that I'm actually proud of. The biggest hurdle is to really admit that all those things that you thought were right were actually wrong. So if you're looking at me now and you dress in a way that I used to dress and you like beating yourself up about it, thinking like, man, I'm really dressed badly. I really want to dress more in a classic way. Don't beat yourself up, man. Just learn, and hopefully my YouTube channel can help speed up the process. I also have a course called Look Your Best in 5 Days or Less. In that course, I tell you exactly how to pick out your first outfit, everything from your suit, your shirt, your tie, pocket square, all the way down to your shoes, and that's all under $1,000 too. So if you have a little bit of money to spare and you go through that course, you can get your first outfit, everything for under $1,000, something that you'll be proud of. So I hope that this video was helpful, and the reason why I share this video with you is to show you that nobody is really born a good dresser. It takes a lot of trial and error. I wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention, one fun fact about this picture is I'm actually wearing the same tie that I was wearing in this picture. I'm wearing it in this video right now. I've talked about this tie on this channel before. This was my first real tie that I purchased that I was very happy with. This tie is a Ralph Lauren purple label tie. I believe it was like $140. It's a beautiful purple tie with some white dots. Out of everything that I used to own back in 2007, 2008, 2009, this is the only thing that I still have now that I can wear. But I love this tie, man. So this tie really stood the test of time, and I'm glad that I made that purchase. So this was a little trip down memory lane to show you that I wasn't always a good dresser. So please let me know in the comments, man, which look do you think is worse? When I was wearing the black suit that was baggy as hell on me, or the one where I was in Vegas and that suit was tight as hell, man? Which one? You already know where I stand on that. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe, or everybody gonna think that you're a hater. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.
Hey guys, what's up now? And today I'm gonna tell you. I broke my ankle. Like this video, or everybody's gonna think that you're a hater, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.